Okay, so we are working on lesson 11, which starts on page 53. So we're down here, page 53. And these are our problem sets. So I'm going to set us up for success on our homework problems by modeling for you what to do on this problem set. So the problem set for lesson 11. Remember, this is multiplying by decimals. So we already should know how to write the word 2/10, right? If I can say it, I should be able to write it 2/10 two ways, both the fraction and the decimal way. Now, 3 copies of that would be kind of like 3 groups of our 2/10. So then I get out my notes. So in my notes, I have on page 1 written strategies for multiplying by decimals. So then I open to page 1 and I see an example, 2 groups of something, and I just added them together, making sure the decimals were lined up when I added those 2 groups together. So that's one strategy that I can use. So this is really 3 times, so I need to write what equation it is that I am solving. So 3 times 2/10 equals something, and that's going to be my answer. And then I show that that would be 3 of these. And I know that 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, so 2/10 plus 2/10 plus 2/10 would be 6/10. And then I can circle where my answer is to show my thinking. So then I'm going to move to the next one, and this one it says 5 groups of 200. So again, I can start by writing the number sentence. Groups would mean it's multiplication, and then I should know that 200ths, right? So in my place value chart, and it might be helpful maybe even to put one of those up here, we have our ones, then we have our decimals, then we have our tenths, our hundredths, and our thousandths. And this is in our place value chart. So if I'm thinking that it's 2 in the hundredths, the 2 would go right here in the hundredths. And so then there would be nothing in the tenths, decimal place, nothing in the ones, so 0.02. So I have 5 groups of that. So I'm going to take out my notes again, and I'll look at another strategy. So what I can do in this one, I can think, right, the numbers multiplied times each other. So in this one, I think, okay, I'm going to think 5 times 2 equals 10. So now I take the number 10, and I think there needs to be how many behind the decimal? Okay, so there needs to be 2 behind the decimal. How did I know that? So in my original equation, or my original number sentence up here, there's nothing behind the decimal here. There is 1, 2 behind the decimal here, so I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to get 0.10. And if I was to check, so I can check by adding this to each other, to itself 5 times. So I'm using that other strategy in my notes, which is to add them up, making sure that the decimals are all lined up. And then I know that 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 2 would be the 10. So it would be a 0 here, the 1 goes up here, decimal goes right here. I didn't really leave myself very much room, did I? And then there's my answer. So then this would equal 0.10 or 0.10. So I do this for all of these underneath 1, making sure that I have shown my thinking. I have my notes out to be looking at the 2 different strategies and checking. Maybe I'm not really sure if I got the strategy correct for the second one, so I use that repeated addition to help me out. Okay, and then down here we have draw a model. So this, remember, is our area model. So it's just like if we were using whole number multiplication, right, where this up here from this point to this point would be the total 3 and 12/100ths, okay? So that's how long that is. And then the side length, so that would be the side length, the entire side length, okay? And then the side width is 7. So if this side width is 7, this side width is 7, this side width is 7, right? So really what we're doing is we're taking the outer rectangle and we're making it into 3 easier problems. So when I take this number, I can decompose it into 3 ones. So 3 ones, right, that would just be 7 times 3. And then we have, this is just the 1/10, right? What is the 1? The 1 is the 1/10. So I should be able to write 1/10 as a decimal, and that would be 7 times a 10th. And then we have 7 times 2/100. So up here, I modeled how to figure out where 2/100ths, what number that would be. And then we have, using our place value chart. And so then we have 7 times 200. So I can use this strategy of multiplication. So I know that 7 times 3, just whole number multiplication, 21. I know that 7 times 1 is 7. So then 7 times 1/10, there's going to be 1 behind the decimal, right? 1 behind the decimal, and that's 7/10. And then right here, I have 7 times 2 is 14. So then 7 times 200, there's 1, 2 behind the decimal. So I start with 14, I put 1, 2 behind the decimal, and that's where they're getting this 14/100ths. If I want to add these all together, I need to put them all in hundredths. So what I'm going to really be adding together is 21.00 plus 0.70 plus 0.14. And that's really helpful because the 4 is added to the zeros, which is 4. The 1 and the 7 are added to that 0 for 8. And then no whole number plus 21. And we get 21 and 84/100ths. So if I'm setting up for this one, right, this would be my length, and this would be my width, just like up here. This is my length, this is my width. So I'm going to start by drawing a large rectangle. And then I know that my width right here is 6. And then I'm going to decompose this into each place value. So I'm just kind of, what is each one of these place values? So the first one is 4 in the ones. So this is going to be my 4 ones. Right? And then the second place value is my 2/10ths. And then my last one is 5, and that's in the hundredths place value. So that's why it's nice to have this, right? So I can see like 4.25, 4 ones, 2/10ths, 5/100ths. So in this first rectangle, that would have a width of 6 and a length of 4, so this is just 6 times 4, which is 24. And then in this one, right, this side length is the same as this side length, so that would be a 6 times this 2/10ths. So this is 6 times, and I should be able to write 2/10ths. I know that 6 times 2 is 12. So then I know that 6 times 2/10ths, there should be 1 behind the decimal, right? 1 behind the decimal, so that'd be 1 and 2/10ths. And that would be for this second rectangle, the area of that second rectangle. And so this is what I was modeling for you really with these, that area model in the last video. And then our final one, we have, again, this is going to be the same from here to here, is going to be the same as from here to here, is going to be the same as from here to here, which is 6. And we have 6 times 5/100ths. I know that 6 times 5 is 30. So then 6 times 5 hundredths, there's going to be 1 2 behind the decimal. So it would be 0.30 or 30 hundredths. Now, in order to add all of these together, I should have everything in the hundredths. So this is only to the tenths. I'm going to add a hundredth zero. This is only to the ones place value, so I'm going to add a decimal and 2 zeros to make it out to the hundredths. $24 can be written as 24 or 24.00. So now I have 0 plus 0 plus 0, and that hundredths place value is 0 hundredths. 3 tenths plus 2 tenths plus no tenths is 5 tenths. No ones plus 1 1 is 1, plus 4 ones is 5 ones, and then I have 2 tenths, so that would be 25. And so my answer to 6 times 4 and 25 hundredths is 25 and 50 hundredths.